When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Hello, happy peoples. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Here's Mom. We are going to FaceTime with my sister because she is going to try on some wedding dresses, and Mom can't be there, so...
Well, no, it's a sad day.
It's a sad day. But at least we're able to FaceTime. Alrighty, so we're going to wait for a FaceTime call from her. Kids are mowing down a cinnamon rolls the size of their head. We will fill you in when Emmy calls. Hello.
Are you playing?
We're all here. Comfortable in it?
Congratulations, Emmy. I'm so glad you followed it. So excited.
Don't look back. Take me off this low.
Good morning, happy peoples. Hope your day is going great. Hope things are going well for you. Trying to grind out here at work. It's been a full throttle time here. It's been crazy. It's been crazy, but that's okay. And then on top of all this, I had my dad reach out to me and ask. It's kind of a favor. So my dad's a real estate agent, and he sometimes will deal with engineer reports on different houses when he sells a house, or if he's representing the buyer. So, and my dad's in his 70s, so when he has that happening, and there's nothing more stressful to him than having a contractor that doesn't do a good job. So usually I just take care of it because why not? So I'm gonna go do that here in a bit. I mean, why wouldn't I, right? It's Dad. My dad, every good thing in my life that has been taught to me, I could actually attribute back to my dad, either directly or by people that he's put around in my life to be able to influence me. So I feel like I owe my dad a lot. At least I can do is take care of this. Matter of fact, my dad's taught me a lot of hard lessons, and those are the ones I tend to remember the most. Let me know if you can remember a hard lesson your dad has taught you growing up. I would love to hear that. So one lesson that I had from my dad, a hard lesson that I remember, that I still remember this details today, and actually I'm still embarrassed about. I was 13 or 14. A friend of my dad's pulled up in the driveway with this new car to him. He was all excited about it. And my dad had, like, within a couple years, had bought a Mercedes. So for some reason at 13 or 14 years old, I thought in my brain that, like, having a Mercedes was like the good cars and anything else was not good. So, and my little snooty 13 or 14-year-old self, he comes up and goes, "Hey, Bert, what do you think of my new car?" I'm like, "Well, it's not a Mercedes." And oh my goodness, my dad found out about that and chewed me out hard. And I appreciate it now, I really do. He told me, I remember the guy's name, I remember the color of the car, like all these things I can remember. But he said, you never criticize anybody for something that someone has. Just because for some reason you don't think it's good, they do. So don't ever criticize something that someone has. And that has stuck with me still to this day. Even something that you might not think is good, you can still find something good about it. And one of those eye-opening things. And then that got me thinking too here about Alaska. These are the lessons that he taught me too. He says don't judge people here in Alaska because you'll end up being made a fool. So this is, I don't know if this is that way where you are, but the whole keeping up with the Joneses is very backwards here in most places. Now it does happen, but you know, when you try to buy things to impress people that you don't know, for stuff you can't afford and all these things, right? So it's kind of like when I was a teenager, there was a person in a suit and he was driving this little BMW, and I'm thinking, now that is success. And my dad just kind of shakes his head and says, "No, son, that's not how that works." So he goes, "I could be wrong, but usually what happens is someone like that's making $15 or $20 an hour, which is a good living, of course, you know, and they're stretched to their max, making payments on probably a used luxury car, you know, who probably works in, you know, just kind of a regular job, but is trying to impress people." He goes, and he points to a guy that's in overalls, maybe a guy in his 50s driving this old truck. He goes, "That's the guy you got to watch, because in more cases than not, that's the millionaire. That's the person that makes a lot of money." And I find that kind of the case here in Alaska. The people that tend to be a little bit more the roughest type of people, like, you don't judge those folks because there's a very good chance they're a multi-millionaire. And the people that are dressed real fancy. I was taught at an early age to be real careful about judging the book by its cover. And that's why, I don't know if that's the same where you guys are, but you just, it's usually backwards. You know, it's usually the person with not the fancy cars and the fancy house. Those people are usually stretched to the max on payments. It's the guy with the old truck and the backhoe in his yard that normally is doing a lot better. But anyway, just a couple fun stories. But I owe my dad a lot and everything. So I'll probably bring you guys with me. I'll go do a quick site visit over here, meet the engineer, meet the owner, see if we can get this knocked out. And that way Dad can rest at ease. So let's get on the road.
Well, we made it on home. Bert has been running like a crazy person all over town today. Holy moly. Absolutely gorgeous day today. We're almost in August. Sometimes we have super beautiful August, like where it's nice and warm and toasty, and other times we don't. So I'm really hoping that we have a really nice August this year. In the process of getting everything organized for school and such, making some decisions on what we want to do this year. Super excited about that. I'm not going to say yet. I'm still researching and trying to figure out exactly what we want to do this year. So I'm going to hold off on saying exactly, but I will let you guys know soon. Talk about the lawn. Oh my word. It's so green on film. I mean, it's green in real life, but wow, that's so stinking cool. I'm still trying to move these little tubes. Grass is still growing under them. I mean, you can see kind of where it was laying down, but the grass is growing underneath all the tubing. Goodness, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm actually going to hit the edges with some water because I showed you guys in the last one where it wasn't really coming in under the eaves, but look, it's starting to come. So excited. Oh my goodness, not living on dirt. I just can't. I'm so excited. And it makes it look more homely. Like, it makes it not look so much like a construction site, except for like that. But we're not going to talk about that. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're making it a little homey as we go. Super exciting to be able to sit down with my mom and my sister and be able to FaceTime her. And she found her wedding dress. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for her. That's like a huge relief that you don't even have to like stress about that. Or it's like a pivotal point of like, oh my goodness, this is real. We are just out enjoying the day. Said I'm gonna do some watering. The keto meals are working great. Oh, that's a bee. Golly, there's so many bees this year and I don't know where they're coming from. I posted on my Instagram story yesterday that we now have little frogs. We have little frogs in our yard. Hello, where did they come from? Keto meals have been working great this whole entire week. I've been super happy with them. We're like almost out. Today is Thursday, so it ended up pretty close to perfect. They have been working fantastic. I'll be curious to see if my mom wants to do it again this weekend. And now that we kind of know a lot, like, we loved everything. Like, there was nothing that we did not like. Everything was fantastic. So super excited for that. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll link it here. where we went and we kind of did like a little meal prep, and I link all of the recipes that we did down in the description. I'm gonna go water, get that all done, and then we want to show you something that we put up in our yard. Very excited. I'll let Bert tell you about it because it was kind of his shindig. So oh my gosh, there's another bee. I'm gonna show you what he has all set up, and it's a good time. But let's actually check in on him and seeing how he's doing today. Going all over the place. So yeah, let's check in on him, seeing how he's doing.
Made it to the job site, which is the house. Everyone, this is Glenn. He is stationed in the military. He actually was walking around, was saying, you kind of look familiar. Do you have like a YouTube channel? And
definitely, yeah.
And you saw one of our videos. What were some of the videos that you saw before you came up here?
He saw one about North Pole, just taking a tour of the town, taking a tour of the bases and military installations around here, getting a feel for how expensive the groceries are, stuff like that. All really good information, really informative. So big, huge thank you to Bert here because he really helped me out. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. It's always cool. I'm like, all right, because we are trying to help a lot of the military that move here. We like military. We like having safety. We like having a large military presence. He's buying a house here, and he's buying a pretty awesome house. He's got a hangar attached to it. So you've got a hangar but no airplane. How does that work?
Well, I guess it doesn't work right now, so if anybody needs hangar space, I mean, they can definitely hit me up. I've got a good home for a plane right now.
Yeah, and this is just a small field here, so you can have a small plane in your own house here. You got a house, you got a hangar, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like the Alaskan dream, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's like living on a golf course down in the lower 48, probably.
Oh, I guess so.
Got an airstrip up here.
Got an airstrip.
Yeah.
You've got Inspector. Guys, this is Charlie Jeanette. He is from North Star Engineering. And if you've seen our home, the main reason our home works is this guy here. So I guarantee you, if you need engineering, talk to him, because you've been doing engineering in Alaska since, when was it?
Since '83.
Okay,
It or not.
so I was 4, like picking his brain on how do we build a all-weather wood foundation that's 6 feet, or how do we figure out your floor drains or your load-bearing points. This guy, it's like everything's natural. But I just wanted to ask a couple quick questions if I could, if people are moving up here. When you show up on like an existing home, so our house is priced semi-easy because you can see all the bones and everything. But when you show up on a place like this, what are some of the things that pop out to you? What are things that you want to look for first?
Well, Bert, it's site drainage is always kind of like job one for me. I like to verify that we've got positive slope so that the roof water, the surface water is not collecting and being deposited under the foundation. Hangar foundation, it's a shallow foundation. It's on gravel, but generally what I tell people is you can take a well-compacted gravel pad, add enough water, and it'll still go down a little bit further. So we want to make sure that all the roof water from the gutters and from the surrounding is deposited and flowing away from the foundation. That's a huge high dollar repair item.
Gotcha.
And it certainly is best to consider that during the construction phase. Afterwards, it's a little harder. We've got these downspout extensions here, and they're hopefully going to stay in place, and Glenn's going to maintain that and make sure we don't get any more water underneath that foundation.
What else do you have that would pop out as maybe a next high priority?
Well, on this particular building, you know, this is the detached hangar, but we've got the metal roof up there. Sliding snow is always kind of a hazard, and you've got underneath the eaves here that snow can come down suddenly, take out whatever. And I think I advised Glenn when we did the initial inspection to make sure that we you know, it's kind of a no man's land. You don't want to park your new snow machine here, because that can come down and do some damage.
What about the house? Is there any kind of concern on, I guess, trusses or foundation that you walk in and look at as far as things that pop out to you?
Well, you know, of course, the drainage is always a concern, as I said, but we want to look carefully at the trusses and the roof supports. We've always got, you know, we're aware that we've got 50 pound per square foot snow load requirements around here. Some of the older homes were built only to 40. Some of the homes out here in the country, I call it the country, or the areas where we don't necessarily even have any code enforcement. And as I probably mentioned to you, Glenn, you can build the same house next door. You don't have to have any permits necessarily, no inspections, and so we get a lot of interesting construction. and we're always paying close attention to that roof framing and trying to make sure the snow load capacity is up to par.
All right, just because I'm an electrician, what are some of the weird electrical things that you're always looking for here?
Oh goodness! So
Yep.
We've already kind of gone through some of these, so we're looking to make sure that we've got a good service. In town last week I saw a home with an old 60 amp service. You like them to be 100 amp. You like them, the electrical components. Every 30 years, whether it needs it or not, you like to have a little upgrade there, right?
Yep.
But overcurrent protection, breaker sizes, the disconnects, everything needs to be properly grounded. Very secure. We don't want to have any loose connections that overcurrent on wires that could cause a fire or something like that. So
Gotcha.
We're checking the panels carefully and looking at all the devices.
Talking about wood stoves, what are concerned about wood stoves here? I know we had to take one out, right? Because there's like a program to, actually maybe I should ask you, you've got like a program that you signed up for to be able to swap out your wood stove to meet the borough standards.
Yeah, so the wood stove that I had in the house was a beautiful stove, but it wasn't quite up to EPA regulations, I think is what ended up being the main concern. So the borough actually has a pretty good program where in order to improve air quality so it's not so smoggy in the winter time, they'll take out the old, not as clean burning stoves. You turn that into them, they destroy it so it doesn't end up in another home or anything, and then they've got some funding that they've been allocated that you can go get a new, cleaner wood burning stove, pellet stove, gas, whatever.
And they're more efficient, I believe, too, right? A lot of those, Charlie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of the new ones are quite efficient. I had an older one. It would actually leak smoke into the house on occasion, and that's obnoxious. We talk about air quality outside, but indoor air quality is important too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it, guys. I don't want to keep you all day. I know you're a busy guy, so thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Bert.
And good luck on your new house.
Thank you.
Standing underneath the lights.
Okay, so I finished watering most of the yard. It's a big yard to do by hand by yourself. Holy guacamole. Babe just made it home. But he had mentioned to me that I guess he talked to you all about one of the hard lessons that he learned from his dad, and that it really stuck with him, and it was something that he didn't forget. And he's like, you should share one of those moments. And I'm like, one of those moments? And then, boom. I remember one that I'll never forget. And I was probably 7. I think I was 7 years old. And we were in the Awana program. You've heard me talk about that. It's like a church program where you memorize verses, get awards, play game time, have like a Bible story time. When I was about 7, I won what they call Clubber of the Month. And Clubber of the Month's a pretty big deal. You have said pretty much the most sections, you've been attending, you've maybe brought friends, you participated in their theme nights. You racked up a lot of points, right? I remember when I went up there and I received the reward, and I came and I grabbed that award, and then I was like, na 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 na, and I stuck my tongue out to everybody that didn't get the award. Hello? That was not a very good child. My parents were appalled, and I got in really big trouble. And what they made me do, as opposed to just saying, oh, that is not good, we shouldn't do that, they actually made me get up in front of everybody and apologize for being that way. And that is something that has stuck with me forever. It was such a humiliating experience for me, where if I wasn't just if I would have handled it with a little bit of humility and just kind of oh yay, I got the award, still be proud of myself, still be yeah, I accomplished it, but not flaunt it in everyone's face. So yeah, that was a good learning experience, a good old piece of humble pie, because I felt so horrible and so embarrassed. But looking back on it, it taught me that valuable lesson of being humble and to not make other people feel bad, because just because you excelled in this area doesn't mean they don't excel in another area. It just, I don't know. And not being mean. Just don't be mean to people. Yeah, so that kind of stuck with me, you know? Be kind, watch your words, don't make people feel bad. Things like that. So anyway, that was something that stuck with me, and he wanted me to share something, and that was the very first one that popped in my brain. My mom! It's my mom! She came over to see me! Don't know why, but that's good. I was gonna call her.
All right, check this out. Look what we set up. Let me send you guys just some footage from yesterday on a non-vlog day because I was just feeling like we need to have some fun. Can we do that? Okay, send it yesterday.
Let's get this done.
This is so awesome. Even though probably next year it won't, well, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be there. We can move it actually out to the lawn where we can like walk on it. We are walking on it very, very gently. I told my babe, I said, we need to call and see if we can like mow this. Is it okay for us to mow? But let me show you this. I was out here watering and I saw like these holes, like these divots, and I was like, what the bloody is that? That one. That one. That one, that one. I'm like, that's a moose. Moose walked right through our yard. Right there, 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 right there. What up? There, just kind of pranced around, so he came out like right here. There's a squirrel going crazy in there, but yeah, I was like, what? So we've definitely had a moose out on our yard, but that's okay. But this is awesome. Anyway, I think we're gonna call this a night. Please don't mind my hat hair. What is going on? That is 100% hat hair. I've been wearing a hat all day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. We love having you guys a part. You guys are always so encouraging and just loving and kind and just all the things, you know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.